Probably won't surprise anyone to know that the most popular deck was Arcus and Alga and Palkia with Zacian V, which had about as many players playing it as the next two top decks combined.
There are some constants when it comes to the Pokemon TCG. One of those is that players will always complain about top tier decks. Alas, rarely are we graced with a format with a wide range of archetypes. More frequently, we find formats revolving around one or a small number of decks which dictate the viability of the rest of the card pool. The current 2020 to 2021 format is a good example. Arceus and Dialga and Palkia and Zacian tag team as king, and single prize attacking decks cower in fear of the gods of time, space, all creation and swords. I've written about player anguish when it comes to ADPZ and shared my thoughts on social media on the topic of banning the card. I've compared it to the dilemma older fighting games can have where a character is very good, but not game-breaking enough to ban. So, this begs the question, what is bannable? David Serlin, author of Playing to Win, writes that the criteria of a ban must be enforceable, discreet, and warranted. Considering ADPZ, the first two criteria are easy enough to fulfill. A ban is enforceable and discreet by including a rule which dictates that players may not include ADP in their deck lists. Card games have an advantage here, unlike with glitches in video games, or vague ideas around ways of playing like no stalling. Tournaments require deck lists which adhere to a certain set of rules which may include banning certain cards. The problematic criteria is whether the ban is warranted or not. I'd like you to humour me for a moment and just consider an idea. Just because a card may enable a strategy to be perceived as the most effective tactic available, or meta for short, it does not necessitate a ban, and could even create a worse situation. ADP sure can be annoying, and perhaps single-handedly render many archetypes unviable in a tournament setting. Yet, we see on a fairly regular basis that other decks are overcoming it, taking wins and going toe-to-toe. These archetypes can cause anguish and yet unify the player base as it rallies to devise a strategy to defeat it. In 2015, the Pokémon Company International made a decision to ban the card Lysandre's Trump Card. This was due to the demonstrated infinite recursion of cards possible alongside strategies which sought to abuse the effect as much as possible. I wondered at the time how the metagame could have evolved were the card not to be banned, but alas, the decision was made, and unlike the many drawn-out matches caused by Lysandre's Trump Card, the Masters Division World Championship Finals was swiftly won by Jacob Van Wagner and his Archie's Blastoise. This is where we start getting into the third ban criteria. Is it warranted? TPCI's ban statement summarizes the decision being made to rectify an undesirable play environment. And this is despite the fact that, as written by Andrew Wamboldt, the format looked diverse in the months prior. What you can infer from their decision making and reasoning is that candidates for banning should be cards which warp the game by narrowing the range of skills being tested, or which enable strategies that eliminate your opponent's ability to play the game. The key word here is eliminate. The elimination of win conditions, the elimination of drawbacks and repercussions, the elimination of winning a best of 3 within 50 minutes. You can see this is consistent with many other cards TPCI has banned. Delinquent stands out as a prime example, where in expanded format, a combo including this supporter could render your opponent unable to play before they even took a turn due to the elimination of their hand, an elimination of their options. So then let's return to ADP, the source of so much anguish. Although it is certainly a powerful, permanent force in the metagame, it does not prevent you from playing. In fact, the very first thing this Pokemon does is use Altered Creation GX, which, while problematic, does not affect the opponent's ability to play the game. ADP does not eliminate an opponent's strategy. It does overpower it by taking 6 prizes, and according to TPCI, that's okay. And I think you should be okay with it too. If there's any takeaway I'd like you to have from this video, it's an appreciation of the difference between what is overpowered and what is problematic. I'm gonna leave you to ponder this quote from Pokemon.com, which reads, "Since Lysandre's trump card was banned, running your opponent out of cards has become a viable strategy. Enrique Avila made it to the finals of US Nationals, and he did it without attacking a single time." This has been Vice from Vice Games, a meandering Pokemon card channel. Whether you agreed or disagreed with my thoughts, please comment down below, and if you enjoyed this content, leave a like and subscribe for more.